guys, it's Izzy here and welcome to vlog 36 of 2022. To start out the vlog, we will talk about my reading plans for the day. Sorry for the crazy hair. Humidity, it's a thing. I didn't get to read any of The Night Manager yesterday, and that is my ebook read. Decided that I'm gonna do something a little different in September, so if I don't get to my ebook the day before, I will read it. This is on weekends, that I will read it during the first part of my reading sprint. I read when I do my ebook, I want to read 5% in a day, and that is the plan for today. So I read 106 pages yesterday, and that was with my two other reads, but we're going to start our day reading The Night Manager. This is fine. It's like a 3-star right now. I'm only 4%, or not 4, I'm 5% into it. Like 26 pages out of a book over 500 pages, so I don't have a lot of formed thoughts yet. It's just at some parts confusing to tell who's talking, because I've only read like the first 2 chapters, so I don't know the characters that well yet. I'm trying to find a scene that really shows it, where it will just have the quotes, but it won't say, like, you know, who's speaking afterwards. So I just find that kind of confusing, as I don't know these characters that well enough yet to be able to I can never say that word. I can only say it when I'm not vlogging, but when I'm vlogging, but I can't tell the differences, basically, to put it in more words than it needs to be. So there's that. And there is a BBC, I don't know if it's a mini series or a full series. Literally half the cast have been on The Crown or will be in the next season of The Crown. It was kind of amazing. Physical moodery that we will be picking up after we read 5% in here is Leave the World Behind by Rumen Alam. So I read 32 pages yesterday, putting me at 20% into this. Now, this one is just very strange to me. I think the writing is trying to really focusing on being poetic. So so at times it seems like the writer is caring more about making it poetic than actually caring about if it's entertaining to the reader. There's some parts that just make things seem maybe sexual in some ways, where I don't think it's necessary. Like, okay, there was this one part, mind you, this is vulgar, so like, sorry. There were the 2 people who were renting the house. They had just let the 2 owners of the house come in because there's a blackout, and the owners didn't want to go all the way back to New York because they're old people, they're elderly people who live on the 14th floor with no power. They would have to climb up that many flights of stairs. So they thought it would be best just to go to their beach house where they wouldn't have to do that. And it was like, there were 4 people standing around awkwardly like you do before an orgy. Like, what? You're just waiting to see if the internet's loading, and that's how you're going to describe it. And then just even some of the ways it just describes the kids, like they're teenagers, but I'm like, kind of gross. Like, I don't like some of the descriptions of people in there. It just is kind of gives me uncomfortable vibes. And I saw in a lot of reviews other people were feeling this way. They said, like, even the author talking about people's like body odors and everything. Kind of weird. But actually, so this is my TBR pick, which we won't be picking up until Monday. This author of this book, so Rumen Alam, author of Leave the World Behind, has the blurb on the cover here saying, seductive, tackles the big stuff of climate change and the more intimate matter of heartbreak with grace. So it's kind of interesting that they had that interaction, the 2 books that I'm reading. But I did get my book of the month today, so I'm going to do that unboxing for y'all. Let's see here. I got 2 books this month. I really wanted to do another add-on. I need to save money after the summer where I bought a lot of books. You can see in my last video how much money I spent. And I don't need to be going excessive like that. So here we go. My pick of the month is The Attic Child. I didn't realize it was so big. 2 children separated by almost a century, bound by a secret, by Lola J. So this is my September pick. It has some little birds on the back. I thought like I got something on it, but no, those are part of it. So a riveting dual narrative of love, loss, identity, centering on two children separated by decades who, bound by a secret, find themselves locked away in the same attic years apart. So we had the early 1900s as a starting point as one timeline and 1974 as another. And y'all know I love dual timelines. And now that I'm thinking, these characters could possibly meet at some point because it is only 70 years, and it says early 1900s, so we don't know if that's 1900 exactly. And then the writer, I love her picture. She just looks so happy. Lola J. She has penned 6 novels and a self-help book, and was born and raised in London, and has lived in Nigeria and the United States, and has written for several big journalism places. I don't know, like CNN and Huffington Post. And this is The Attic Child. Is her first epic historical novel. Can't wait because I love epic historicals. And our bookmark here is Friends Don't Let Friends Dog Ear Books. Y'all can do what you want with your books. I don't care. Just don't do it to mine. And then this is my add-on because I am focusing on thrillers this month. And then I found out after this that this is technically in a series and that you don't have to read the first book in the series, but it's recommended. So I can't pick this up this month. If I do, I have to buy the first book, and that is This Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter. So a girl with a secret and unsolved murder, one final chance to uncover the killer. But it's in Long Island, like one timeline. Again, it has dual timelines, one in 1982 and then one 48 years later. And we know I'm liking Long Island at the moment. Ooh, the writer, I didn't know Karen Slaughter is a native of Georgia and lives in Atlanta. That is cool. And the first book in the series is Pieces of Her, and it's a Netflix series, but I haven't heard great things about the TV show. I've heard the book is great, but on TV it didn't translate well. And yeah, those are my picks for whatever month it is. I will catch up with y'all once I read a little bit more of The Night Manager.
19th starter. Jeff Burton will start 18th. John Hunter Nemechek starts 17th. Kyle Weatherman qualified 16th. The 15th starter is Josh Berry. Stephen Parsons starts 14th. And Jeremy Clements goes 13th. Sam Mayer, the 12th qualifier, is starting 11th. Is Ross Chastain.
And your top 10 starters. Starting 10th, Daniel Emmerich. Starting 9th, Landon Castle. Riley Hurts will go from position number 8. Kyle
Here are racist flags over here.
He'll start 6th this afternoon. 5th,
I know, happens.
Austin Hill will start 4th. Sheldon Creed.
Oh, this is all going in the vlog, don't you know that?
Second, Noah Gregson.
Yeah. But for the people watching the vlog, you can't have the Confederate flag over there on NASCAR property, but you can on private property.
So why don't we take a swing around the racetrack, bring in a couple of more voices to help call the action.
I got up to, what was it, 10% that I wanted to get to, which was 34 pages read. And I did, in between time, go to the racetrack because they are Xfinity racing right now. Well, not right now because there was rain. One of the weird storms where it comes from the Atlantic and goes west. That only happens a few times. Like, it's usually coming from mountains going towards the ocean. I'm just confused a lot of the time. Like, I'm learning that, like, crime-oriented, where it's people like, this guy is, I don't even know what Pine really is. A former British soldier who's currently the night manager of a posh hotel in Zurich, but like, he's not. Like, he's helping Whitehall and all of that. It's just all over the place. Sometimes we're in Zurich, sometimes we're in Cairo. This is all happening when the Gulf War is starting, which I know like zero about. And then we have Roper, and I don't even know why Roper is bad. It just says the sinister master of them all is Richard Onslow Roper. The Roper, I think it was actually, but the charming and ruthless Englishman whose operation seems untouchable. I don't get what his operation is though. I don't get why they're after him and how Pine got involved with all that. But we're 10% in. I'm probably gonna pick this up again later tonight, like once I am in bed. But next we are going to be getting into Leave the World Behind. I think I'm going to get into this in about an hour just to give myself time to decompress, and my phone does need to charge because I was reading all that on my phone, and I got the audiobook to follow along with the Kindle edition just because usually when I'm confused it's better if somebody's like telling me it. I don't know. I am done reading Leave the World Behind for the day. I only got to 38%, which I feel like I read a lot more than 18%, but I do need to see how many pages that is all together. So I got to page 123. So I read 58 pages in here. So I've read 90 some pages today, so we're in 5% more of this. But with here, I totally meant to talk about this in my last vlog, but forgot to. So we're in this thing where there's no technology. Like, they have power, like lights and that kind of thing, but their phones don't work. The TV just has a message saying emergency, national emergency thing, but nobody knows what's really happening. There's a lot of references to the Native Americans and all of that, which I think is interesting to do this comparison of they're in like ancient times because they're in Long Island, so obviously that's like Native Americans who were here in ancient times. Having those comparisons of the ancient times to now where they have no technology. Interesting comparisons, and there are some beautiful passages in this, but the rest, I'm just like, how like the author keeps making random things sexual. I'm like, why do we have to sexualize these people? Like, in some stories that is fitting, but with this, like a family on vacation, weird. I don't know, like it makes me uncomfortable. And just all this, and then it's like, we don't know what's really happening. We don't even know whether the blackout is real or not. And it's so frustrating, but I can understand maybe why we feel those emotions, because we are feeling how the characters feel, because they don't know anything either, so we are really in the shoes of the character. Lots of interesting thoughts there. We're gonna get back into this, not instantly, not right now, probably in about an hour. As I said, read about 5% more. I don't know what page we'll get to, but we'll be starting on page 60. That's so satisfying. And then I'll update y'all on this tomorrow. 'Cause I don't keep them high. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I do have clothes on to show y'all because it is off the shoulder. I didn't know how I'd feel about this. The pants that I got for this were way too big. They were a size 26, but that wasn't happening. Did you literally? Okay. I had the clothes on my pajamas and he just sat on them. Yeah, so it is race day here. I am not going to the race. It is the time of the month and I did not want to walk because I know 3 months in advance when it's gonna be. I did not want to walk however many miles, because that parking lot is huge, to the race in 90-degree weather. It's not 90 because it did rain. That just did not sound nice to me. The last like NASCAR race I went to, it literally snowed. There are extremes with the weather. But Indy, they treated me perfectly. It was hot in Indy. Hot in Indiana is different than South Carolina heat. I did go to the grocery store. That's where I just came back from. There were tons of race fans because I was in Darlington. And it's always good to see. I didn't see any Centric fans, but that's what I'm about to put on. I can't reach it. My shirt. My 2 shirt that I got at the spring race. But I am going to go by the track because I do want to see the flyover. Hopefully it's fighter jets from this era, not World War II, because Top Gun. Even though I know these are most likely going to be Air Force jets, would be my guess, because we live near an Air Force base. Let's talk about my reading. So I ended up reading 124 pages yesterday. So after I talked to y'all, I read 32 pages in The Night Manager, but we're going to be starting the day reading Leave the World Behind, and we will be starting on page 123. I am going to eat and then probably text my friends for a little bit because in Darlington, I don't have good connection there, so I wasn't really able to communicate, and I was like, there's all these messages I want to reply to, but I can't. So I'm gonna do that and then read. So I'm gonna say an hour tops. It's 2:57 right now. Then I will get into reading. Definitely not gonna finish this today, but I think we will finish it in the vlog. We are here at the track, Too Tough to Tame. No, as being like the official people, but I am in the NASCAR parking lot because those parking lots are free. When on the private property lots, you have to pay. And yeah, usually I'd be across the highway over there, but this year they're making you pay to be over there. So I'm in this parking lot. I'm here for the flyover. Yeah, and I'm freezing in this car, but I didn't really want to sit in the truck by myself because yeah, I didn't want to do that. But we are sitting here and I will show y'all both ways. I'm not going to show y'all yet till I get out, but usually the planes come from that way and go that way, but I'm going to show y'all. So there's the grandstand up there. I'm just showing all these people's tags. So the racetrack is all over there, and I'm out here. Look at those clouds, look at them. Guys, I'm standing on the car. This is the view out here, and it smells like Buc-ee's. It smells so good. We moved to get a good view. F-16s, please. I mean, a bomber would be really ideal, but we know that's not gonna happen out here, but a girl can dream. World War III.
It's not fighting.
It's aliens. Yo, why do they have to give me these old-timey planes all the time? I'm like, I have an Air Force Base 45 minutes away. I lost them. I don't even see them. All you hear is that, but... Oh, right there. This is what they were using to scare Germans, everybody. On the sun. Every year, guys, every year. Why? My first race, they had a C-130, which I think is cooler than that. Give me modern warfare. I'm recording for my group chat. I don't even know if y'all can see this, but you know. Singing. Oh my god, the commercial scared me. They're just going in circles because it's a race. Guys, happy Monday. It does not look like a Monday. It is Labor Day, so I am taking the day off from filming, and I'm just going to film and edit tomorrow on Tuesday. Because it's still, I can still get my video up on time even if I do that. I was originally going to work today, but I was just like, I don't want to. There's too many distractions because everybody else is not working today. So just since everybody's having the day off, I can be around family, friends, you know, all that fun stuff. We're having amazing weather, a thunderstorm, just perfect for reading. Love that. I have read today, and I do need to update in the book where I am. It is 3 o'clock, but I did not get into this last night. Yeah, I didn't update y'all last night. I just had a headache, migraine, whatever you want to call it. Not fun. So I only read D8 pages yesterday, and that was all in Leave the World Behind. Still same thoughts for that, no new thoughts. So then I did end up still watching House of Dragon. I kind of forgot about it because, well, one, we had the NASCAR race to watch and Eric Jones won, which is nice. No opinion of him, so that's fine. We watched that, and then at like 11 I was texting my friends and I was like, oh my gosh, totally forgot about House of Dragon. I need to go watch it. I'll see y'all in an hour. And I watched that, and that episode, the cinematography was just so good, and just I feel like the world building, just we get so much more. We get to see places that we didn't necessarily see in the first series. I mean, this was just the Kingswood is what I'm talking about, but still. And there was a really beautiful moment with Rhaenyra and Sir Christian Cole, and then an elk. I'm not gonna go anymore because I don't want to spoil, but just beautiful. I know Damon kind of like stole the episode for a lot of people, even though he only had one line, but still it's Matt Smith, fantastic actor, and that was pretty brutal. So I think a lot of people would like that because that's why some people like Game of Thrones. So I did end up reading the 5% that I was supposed to read in here yesterday. I just read it this afternoon, and I am on page 114 now. I do need to update that. So I only read one chapter, but it got me to where I wanted to get to. Yeah, so I'm on chapter 7 in here now, which is 20% of the way. No new thoughts, but I do think I'm going to start getting answers to the questions that I have had, which is always a good thing. But we are going to get into this one now. Still have not looked up how to say the title, but I have been thinking about this like all weekend. Just really wanted to get into it. Now, if I had to give rankings right now at all of the parts where I'm at, this is a 3, 2, and a 2, but I do think this one has potential to get moved up to a 3. But this one, since I am over halfway, I don't think it's going to get anywhere higher than it already is. Reading update time. As you can see by the lighting, it has brightened up. The sun is going back out, sadly. That's a lie. I do need sunshine in my life, but I do want to read y'all the tabs. So our first one is just for writing. That to be a child roaming, to be a child with a day as big as a year. There has been a time in my own childhood when I'd gone on what I called expeditions. I'd walk from my parents' cabins into the forest, staying within sight of the cabin, then within sight of a tree that was inside of the cabin, then onward. Just liked that, thought it sounded nice. Another thing is, so we know they're on Eleutheria. I looked up how to say it, and that is from the biblical Greek. So I said Roman in the last vlog. I think it was the last vlog, but it's actually Greek. This paragraph is, I thought too hard about the local children on Eleutheria. Could they go to college, to anywhere? Did they have paths to follow beyond the outlined on a hand-drawn treasure map? A promise scrawled on a damp scroll of paper with no clear compass, unlikely odds. The recruits had a well-groomed trail charted for them. Their maps were famously, don't know how to pronounce that, rendered, time-tested, and fairly acquired. That's just something that would be so realistic if something like Camp Hope was to happen, that they would be focusing on how these kids are like children of CEOs, children of senators, you know, that kind of thing. They wouldn't really care about the local people. That's only when something is built or whatever. I feel like they don't care about the local people. Gentrification, kind of. But in this setting, I wouldn't say it's exactly that, but kind of reminiscent of that. And then just this quote here that says, when you stop worrying about losing everything, that's when you can accomplish everything, or accomplish anything. True. So I read about 30 pages and that's sitting. So I have one more chapter that I would like to read today, which is about another 30 pages, and we will be picking this back up at 6. Reading update. I do have a puppy at my window because it's been raining all day, so she's finally out, but she might bark at me. That chapter that I just read was really giving like backstory to Sylvia's character. And again, I just think these characters are super interesting, as she is someone who grew up in the UK, is British, and was very eccentric is the word that I would use to describe her childhood, that a lot of people thought that she was developmentally delayed. I'm not saying that first word right. But she actually wasn't. People just weren't paying close enough attention to see like what was really happening there. And then they did, and she had to go live a normal, atypical life. And just then how she got to the United States and all of that. But yeah, interesting characters here. I don't have any like new thoughts for y'all. I read 63 pages, which puts me at 59% page 199. I'm not sure what day I'm supposed to finish this book, but it will be this week in this vlog. So I am enjoying this. I do think this might be better on reread. Right now it's like a 3.5. It's going up. It is getting better as I go along with it. Later we will pick up Leave the World Behind, starting on page 181 at 57%, but that will be at 9. It's currently 6:49. I'm gonna pop myself some popcorn because I've been wanting popcorn a lot recently, but it's just the process of making it and putting all the toppings. That just seems like a lot of work, but I'm gonna do it. Nothing much more to add to this one, just that it's weird. That's all I could say, but I read 16 pages and we should finish it sometime. Hey guys, happy Tuesday. It feels like a Monday since I am working today when I didn't work yesterday, but I did get to 25% in here, so I've read a quarter of this book so far, and I am getting a better understanding as the story is progressing, so hopefully that ends up being better. But I read 27 pages in there, so yesterday I read a total of 128 pages, which is a good amount. Is that the most this month? Yeah, that's the most this month. Now I do want to tell y'all about new releases because there are quite a few that came out today, and I did get one in the mail, and that is The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. We talked about last week about Hamnet, how I was unhauling it, and then I was like, no, I think about this book all the time. I feel like I need to keep it and reread it at some point. And then this one is about Lucrezia de Medici. There are several Lucrezia Medicis. This is in the 1550s, so y'all can get an understanding of who it is. I wish they had a family tree or something in here, but they don't, so you just have to Wikipedia it or Google, whatever platform you want to go on. But y'all know I love the Medici, and so to have a book about one that we don't have really any historical fiction on is fascinating. And look at that cover, look at it. I don't have the Hamnet hardback, I have the paperback, and I always recommend pre-ordering books because you usually get money back, and I did get money back for this. Maybe it'd be just like 6 cents, but that is 6 cents that I didn't have before, so totally recommend pre-ordering. But let me tell you about other books that released today. We have On the Rooftop by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton. We have If I Survive You by Jonathan Escovery. I've entered so many giveaways for this. I enter every giveaway that I get notified about. I haven't won yet. And remember we won a book in a giveaway a few weeks ago? I still haven't got that, so I'm kind of like, is it coming? Like, what's happening there? The Marriage Portrait, which I just showed y'all, by Maggie O'Farrell. And lastly, we have The Most Likely Club, which I really want, and I think me and my friend Erica would really like it because she agreed that she wanted to read it. So future buddy read maybe, who knows, but that is by Alyssa Friedland. And those are all the new releases. So we are going to get into Eleutheria today, and it's 1:36 right now, so I'm just gonna read for the next hour because I do have to walk the dogs, I have to film, I have to do all of that. And I'm going to be starting on page 199. That's like such an easy number to start at for when I'm seeing how many pages I've read. No, my Wi-Fi is not working right now. It's being a jerk as per usual. No, yesterday it did great all day yesterday, but today not so much. So I am going to restart that and let it rest for a little bit while I'm reading, and then check back in on it like I'll check back in with y'all. Hey guys, I bet you didn't know it was me. These things here, I tweezed them, and then I actually used eyebrow product on them for the first time ever. I've always used eyeliner or eyeshadow to do my eyebrows, but I used Benefit, whatever, I don't know what to call that. A pencil, eyebrow pencil, is that what they're called? I don't know, but we're gonna get into reading the next chapter in here. I do want to read what I marked last. So this is gonna go in my character paragraph. She's talking about the guy who's like the head of the camp. Said, I had believed Adams embodied my parents' inverse. He was relentlessly optimistic, a pioneer of eco-actualization, a believer in futures beyond apocalypse. So we get to see two sides of the spectrum here on doomsdayers. Like, her parents were, I'm gonna say, very far right, thinking when the apocalypse happened that was it. Everything was gonna suck. It was just gonna be really bad. And then we have Adams, who politically speaking, I'm not sure, because we haven't got a ton of him, but former military guy, all of that, leader of this camp. He's thinking of this optimistically, being like, how can we make human life all right in the ever-changing world, like that kind of thing. So we're seeing the doom and gloom, and then somebody being optimistic, saying, how can we fix this? So two sides of the spectrum there, which I think is very important to see different sides of issues. Yeah, I did go to Texas Roadhouse for the first time in forever. It was so good. That's my favorite like sit down restaurant. Love it, love it, love it. So I'm so happy I got to do that. But we have about 25 pages to read in here for the rest of the day, and we should finish this tomorrow. That's what I have scheduled on my calendar that I did at the start of the month. So hopefully we can do that. Time for the update. I got to page 257 in here, which is 58 pages right on the date and 76%. I do have only one little thought. I like that we are alternating between past and present, because I feel like if we did go in chronological order of all her time in Boston, then her time in the Bahamas, it would probably get pretty stagnant and still. So I just like how we are alternating between the two of them, and we are on track to finish tomorrow. Only that little bit left, so we will pick up Leave the World Behind at 9. But I did want to tell y'all 6 of the books hitting shelves this week according to Goodreads. I told y'all about new releases that I'm interested in, but I know all of y'all aren't going to be interested in the books that I'm interested in, because we all have different taste. So the first one here is The Fortunes of Jaded Women by Carolyn Hunn. And this is one that I'm kind of interested in, but I need to hear people's thoughts first. So you should read this book if you like contemporary fiction, magical realism, sprawling Vietnamese families, witches, curses, Hawaiian psychics, prophecies, families divided, and families reunited. Then we have Fairy Tale by Stephen King. You should read this book if you like fantasy, horror, backyard portals into alternate dimensions, heroes' journey stories, epic struggles between good and evil, and Stephen King books. So I think if you like Stranger Things, you might like that one. Then this is the one that I bought, even though it's not a thriller, I know, but it's about a Medici, so I had to buy it, and I showed it to y'all earlier, obviously, but that is The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. This is historical fiction, literary fiction, Renaissance Italy, aristocratic intrigue circa 1550, courageous young women, commissioned portraiture, and Hamnet. Then I know this one is really popular. Again, it's one that I want to hear what other people think about, and that is Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayburn. So mysteries, thrillers, recently retired assassins rethinking their decision, international espionage, subliminated resentment of ageism, and the Veronica Speedwell series. And here's one that I do want to pick up, and that is If You Survive by Jonathan Escoffery. Probably saying that wrong. You should read this book if you like short story collections, literary fiction, to be authors, immigrant stories, interlocked narrative structures, books with remarkably enthusiastic critical acclaim. And then this is the only book on the list that I don't know, so I am definitely going to have to look into it. And that is Solito, a memoir by Javier Zamora. You should read this book if you like autobiographies, immigrant stories, 3,000-mile journeys, incredibly brave 9-year-old kids, and poets who write memoirs that read like novels. So those are the new releases. I'm gonna go have some dinner and check in with y'all at 9. It's almost 9 o'clock, and honestly, I'm just bored because I've done everything that I do in a day except like take off my makeup and all of that. I've just been sitting around texting and that kind of thing, petting my dogs. You know, I haven't done anything, so I'm just gonna get into reading. We are starting on page 197, and honestly, I was thinking about this book a lot last night, because one of my biggest fears happened. Like, this guy, like, 4 teeth fell out, and then it made it seem like all his teeth fell out, and I'm like, he's like a perfectly healthy 16-year-old or whatever, and I'm like, nope, trigger for me. That's not like a massive trigger, but like still, it's one of my biggest fears, and it grosses me out. And I was like nauseous last night, but I think it was just from whatever. I think it was because I ate eggs, honestly. Like, if I eat eggs in the morning, I'm fine, but if I eat them in the afternoon, they make me nauseous. I don't know why, but I was like, I bet this book added on to that because some of this stuff was just gross. And like, this was like actual gross stuff, not like the writing. Like the writing is gross, like when it like sexualizes people, but I'm talking about gross, like people throwing up and all that kind of thing. And I'm like, no, don't like that. That's gross. But we're gonna get into this. I really want to finish it because I want to know what is all going on. But I read in some Goodreads reviews that people finished it and they're still like, what was happening? Like, what was the issue here? So we're going to get into this, and who knows how much I'll read. Reading update time. I got to page 219, which is 91% of the book, so we're definitely going to be finishing this tomorrow because there's only like 20 pages left because the rest is like author interviewed, that kind of thing. This might be spoilery, so just skip to the next timestamp. They're linked down below in the pinned comment and in the description of the video. I swear these people are turned into flamingos, they're turned into birds. I don't know, it's extremely weird and I don't like this. it's just strange. But I am going to read some of the Night Manager tonight. I'm going to read till 30%. So again, I'm doing the ebook and have the audio going along with it, so I don't know what I'm going to list it as in my log at the end of the month. I think I'm going to put it as an ebook because I've done the whole thing as an ebook and only some of it as an audiobook. We'll just have to see what I'm feeling, but that is what we are doing with the Night Manager, and I'm going to be picking that up in probably about an hour now, probably around like 11 o'clock when I get the Leave the World Behind out of my system. But I will see you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Look at how the wax dried. It's bubbles. It looks kind of dark, but happy Wednesday. We do have several updates to do. So first I'm going to do this one because it's kind of an out there one that we wouldn't do every week. Somebody passed away and my dad in the will got some stuff. And so he gave me these books that he saw there and all of that. So the first one we have is actually like an anticipated one for me because it's about Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's like one of my favorite characters. But the thing is, it's by John Jackson Miller, who I have not been a huge fan of in the past. Y'all can see my Star Wars ranking video, but it's Obi-Wan, so I feel like it can't go too wrong. Yeah, and John Jackson Miller is the only Star Wars author whose books are in paperback. I've never been able to find his books in hardback. Just random tidbits. Obviously, I've seen this book before. I knew about it. Then this one is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of The Last Jedi by Jason Fry. Then we have Saving Private Ryan, but this is like a novelization version, which I've seen bits and pieces of the movie, but not the whole movie. Don't know how it will play over into. Basically, there was a ton of Civil War stuff, and I told my dad, I was like, I really don't care about that. Like, I am interested in learning about my family members who were in it, but I'm not interested about the general stuff. Like, not saying generals in the war, but like just a generalization I'm not really interested in. So I was like, if there's more like World War stuff, I'd be more interested in that. But still, that's not my peak interest. My peak interest would be like wars in medieval times, but besides the point. So this is Midway, the battle that doomed Japan by Mitsuo Fushida and Masatake Ukamiya of the Imperial Japanese Navy. So I'm probably saying that wrong. And this is, so it's told by a Japanese standpoint, so that should be kind of interesting. And then these books are chaotic at all, I don't know, because I've only heard the Star Wars ones and like Saving Private Ryan. But this one is still in plastic, and this is like, yeah, this is right up my alley. World War I, my favorite war to learn about. And so it's just the First World War by John Keegan. Big chunky guy there, can't wait. Here's an old-timey looking one. So Day of Infamy by Walter Lord. I think my dad said it was about Pearl Harbor, but I could be wrong. And look how the book of the month books used to be. I've seen this from some of the books my grandma's given me over the years. It would just say it like that. But yeah, this is World War, no, it's World War II, is Pearl Harbor. And then this big chunky guy here, At Dawn, We Slept, The Untold Stories of Pearl Harbor by Gordon W. Prange. This is a phenomenal bestseller, never heard of it. So, the first verse is UK, and then I've never seen Australian, and then it goes to Canada and US. I'm assuming it's Australian, it could be Austrian for all I know. And then this one, my dad said he wasn't sure that I'd be interested in, but to be honest, more interested in this than the Japanese ones, because the European side does fascinate me more. But then again, I don't know a lot about the Pacific side of things, so maybe I can learn something new. But The Battle of Britain, 5 Months That Changed History, May to October 1940 by James Holland. This is like a really nice condition. So there's that. So let's go into our reading updates. I read 26 pages in here last night, getting to 30%. And so overall yesterday, I read 106 pages. Now we are on schedule to finish both of these today. I will be writing a review for this today, and as always on the days that I'm supposed to write reviews, I'm always really nervous beforehand, but it's going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. Just thinking about writing it stresses me out. And I know since this is going on my blog, I have to write a synopsis as well, and I do not like doing synopsi because I just am like, what if I'm not describing this right? So basically I just paraphrase what they've already said, but I am starting this on page 257, and we want to get to a little over 300, and that will get us to the end of the book. But I'm just going to read one chapter right now, and then if I have thoughts, I will check in with y'all. But I am going to go to Target in a little while, and they do have their Halloween stuff out, so I'm going to be filming a video for my ASMR channel, which should be super exciting. I finished the book. The ending was just odd. Like, it's like, yeah, that happened. Like, nope. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just, it ended. That was that. I'm gonna write my review for this after I eat my dinner, so sometime in the 8 o'clock hour. It's 7:05 right now, and then I'll read you like my wrap up review, like the last paragraph of the review, because that's what I put on Goodreads, but I will link my full review on my blog down below in the pinned comment as well. But that was our science fiction pick of the month, and it was a 3-star. I do think it could be better on reread. This left a lot of interesting ideas, and I don't know if maybe that was the goal. You never know unless you're the author, or the author explicitly says. I wish there would have been like an author's note or something. There's the acknowledgements, but you know, that's just thanking everybody. It's not really a note from the author saying what the point of this was. I mean, obviously it was to bring awareness to climate change and just the political climate, like not weather-wise, but politically, of the world we live in and all. So there are a lot of interesting ideas and themes here, and we'll just see what comes out when I start writing my review. But first book done for the month of September, a week into the month. Let's let y'all know my final thoughts. So the reader gets to experience 2 sides of the climate spectrum here, very unique character work. If we think back to Willis' childhood, growing up in a secluded cabin in the middle of nowhere in New Hampshire, that makes me want a book with that atmosphere. The setting was very easy to picture and just overall fascinating at the thought of someone making a camp or compound like Camp Hope. The writing is what I marked the most of in my experience annotating Eleutheria. That being said, some of the paragraphs were beautiful and had great commentary on the society we live in and are going towards. I highly recommend picking this book up for the ideas and themes that are presented. But if you guys would like my full review with like, it's over 900 words, 2 pages in length, definitely check out the link down below to my blog. Oh, also for my next sci-fi read, it's going to be Padawan by Kirsten White, I think was the first name. I do know that author, and I have the books by that author, but I haven't read them. But that is my next Star Wars book, and that's what I'm supposed to get to next. But I totally realized that I do not own this book, and it's like, why don't I own it? It's about Obi-Wan, and we know Obi-Wan, that's my man, that's my Star Wars crush. So I ordered it, and it should be here Friday. I totally read the chart wrong, and this is my next Star Wars book, so we just awkwardly have the one book coming into the mail. But this is Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. And now we are going to get into Leave the World Behind, starting on page 219, which is 91%, which I think is a little higher than that, because as I told y'all, there's that extra stuff in the back. So hopefully I finish this today, but the thought of writing another book review, even if it is just a Goodreads one, it's kind of like, so I'm probably going to do it when I'm in bed. This ending, it answered no questions. Harry Styles and One Direction did get mentioned though. But yeah, 2-star read. Was not a great time. I had high expectations for this. It did not live up to that. I just have so many questions after finishing this. Like, I am so confused about what was happening. I can't wait to look this up on Reddit to see people's theories. My guess, which this is like very blatant, like nuclear war. Not sure, but that would be my go-to guess. Still very confused and yeah, kind of upset because I was super excited about this one and it did not live up to my expectations, but I will read y'all my review on that tomorrow because it is late and I do need to go get a bath, but I'll see y'all tomorrow. And I will be picking up Night Manager tonight, starting on page 167, which is 29%. We're only going into our first reading hour, but so much has already happened today. It is Thursday, and of course the Wi-Fi isn't working, but the Queen has passed away, so long live the King. I just had to say something. I don't really have a lot to say because, I mean, what can you say? I was going to check on Delilah, because it is nice here today, so she's outside. And then when I was on my porch and then I heard the guy on the TV say the death of Queen Elizabeth I, I was like, did I hear that right? Because we've had the BBC on because obviously there was the news that there were concerns about her health condition and all of that, and that the family was going to Balmoral. The really southern way of saying it, but yeah, it's crazy to think that my dad's had the same monarch his whole life until now. I've had the same monarch. My grandma's had 3, if we want to count the abdicator. But yeah, it's crazy to think. And I do believe that Charles will be a good king. I'm not going to get too much into that because I know a lot of people don't like Charles, but I personally do like Charles and think he is a good man and will be a good king. We finally did get the package for the book that I won in a giveaway on Goodreads. So this is coming to us from Macmillan Universal Wild in Canton, Massachusetts. I'm sorry, Penny. She doesn't like when I open packages, but this is a paper one, so she is staying pretty calm. Okay, there's no papers in there. I don't know if this is an ARC or not. This isn't, yeah, this is an advanced reader's edition, so an ARC not for resale. So this is Roses in the Mouth of a Lion by Bushra Rahman. So this is, again, I'm sorry if I pronounce any of these names wrong because this is my first time looking at the synopsis and all of that. Okay, I'm just gonna give you all the really short description here, and then when I do read it, I will give you all the full description. But in the vein of On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous and A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, an unforgettable story about female friendship, queer love, and a Muslim American community. So we love all that. Lots of diversity just by that little short paragraph. Yeah, this is quite a short book. 273 pages, and this is the ARC, so I don't know how different it'll be in the final release edition. But yeah, book 1, summer of 1985, just peak 80s, we love that. And it does have a New York City setting, which I love for books. And again, this comes out in December, so definitely be sure to check that out when the time comes. It doesn't say the exact release date, just December 2022. So if you want more info, I'm sure you can find it on Macmillan's website. But we are starting a new book today, and it's kind of fitting that it is Shakespeare and about a king, as we do have a king on the throne now, and Shakespeare is this quintessential English literature. This is my second Shakespeare of the year, and this is Henry IV Part 1, and this is a Signet Classic Edition. I have no idea really what it's about. I don't know a lot about Henry IV in general. I am nervous to go into this, and I did get this edition at the used bookstore. So we have the contents here, and then the actual play doesn't start till this far in. And I think I'm doing an act a day. And that will get me finished in 5 days. So if you have suggestions in the comments if I should switch to the audiobook, let me know, because this is only my second play that I'm reading on my channel and my second Shakespeare on the channel. Of course, I read Shakespeare in school and whatnot. I'm gonna try this and hopefully it goes well for me. I don't know if I'm gonna write a review for this. I don't think I am. I think I'm just gonna publish one of my reviews that I wrote last month but didn't put online. And I finished reading this for the day, so I read 27 pages, all of Act 1, and I did pick up the audiobook, and that has made it a lot easier, so I will link the audiobook that I'm using down below in the pinned comment. I also have seen The King, the Netflix film, so I have a better understand, like I understand the politics of what's going on and some of the characters and all of that. So I'm glad that I do have that background knowledge. Now, in the War of the Roses, like series quote by Shakespeare, you're supposed to start with Richard II, I think it said. And I'm starting with the second play in the series. So hopefully that's okay and that I'll be okay. I am still going to read a summary, but basically what's happening is war with Scotland, and it is getting more serious. So they're like, we're going to stop our Holy War crusade in Jerusalem or whatever and focus mainly on Scotland. And obviously this is the English speaking, the Council of the King. We're done with this for the day. We are going to be starting a new mood read at 6, so in about 2 hours, which will be this, but I will talk about that then. Yeah, so 27 pages on the day so far. I meant to tell y'all that I hit 400 subscribers. I don't know if I told y'all or not, but I did, and I've just been trying to get to that forever. So to finally get there is just super rewarding, and I'm super happy. So our next goal is 500 subscribers, which that is a scary number. That's half of 1,000. Like, it's gonna take years to get there. Like, it took years to get to 400. I've had my channel for almost 10 years now, and I'm not giving up hope on being monetized in the future and all. I was monetized in the past because YouTube used to not be as strict about that. So I will admit I have made money off of YouTube, but not at the moment. I'm not, like, from YouTube itself, because obviously some people tip the channel and that kind of thing. And then I have done very, very few sponsorships in the past, and by that I mean like 6 years ago. So yeah, but that's not the main reason I'm here. If that was the main reason I was here, I probably would have stopped making videos 10 years ago. But yes, so I'm super happy to get into 400 subscribers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But we are going to get into a new book right now. And it is a little after 6 because I was watching a thing on the Queen on the BBC. Yeah, do we still say the Queen? Like, or the Queen who's like, I don't know. Do we still refer to her as that? Like, I'm confused. But we're starting a new book, and it is Haunted Ground by Erin Hart. I got this for Christmas a few years ago. I don't remember who got it for me, but it was somebody who lives in the house, I know that. But let me tell y'all what it's about. Farmers cutting turf in an Irish peat, I guess is how you say it, bog, make a grisly discovery: the perfectly preserved head of a young woman with long red hair. Irish archaeologist Cormac Maguire and American pathologist Nora Gavin must use cutting-edge techniques to preserve ancient evidence. Because the bog's watery, acidic environment prevents decay, it's difficult to tell how long the red-haired girl had been buried. 2 years, 2 centuries, or even much longer. Who is she? The extraordinary find leads to even more disturbing puzzles. The red-haired girl is not the only enigma in this remote corner of Galloway. 2 years earlier, Mina Osborne, the wife of a local landowner, went for a walk with her son and vanished without a trace. Could they too be hidden in the bog's treacherous depths, only to be discovered centuries from now? Or did Hugh Osborne murder his family, as some villagers suspect? Bracklin House, Osborne's stately home, holds many secrets, and Nora and Cormac's inquiries threaten to expose them. So an Irish setting, I think, should be like perfect for this time of year. And then I'm fascinated by archaeology, and I have read about bodies being found in bogs, bodies who are like ancient. I think the one I read about online, like an article, I think it was in the Netherlands. But I just find that fascinating, how bodies can be preserved in certain weather and climate. But yeah, I'm gonna start this. The chapters look short, and again, this was a gift, so gifts are always fun to see. I'm gonna have to see who got it for me. I think it was my dad, but I could be wrong. But I'm gonna get to reading. Little update, I got to page 44, so I did read quite a bit just then. I don't really care about the parts about Mina Osborne, like the missing woman with the child, which just sounds like so terrible. I'm like, I don't care. It's fiction, it's fine. That's just not the part that I'm intrigued by. I'm more intrigued by the preserved head they found of the woman in the bog. This is actually a series as well, so it's interesting. It's easy to read, but I feel like most thrillers are. And that was my only real complaint so far, is that I don't really care about the Mina Osborne plot. but it should be interesting to see how they intertwine, other than a lot of people think that her body is in the same bog that the head was in. It's just gonna be, and it's gonna be interesting to see, is this an ancient body? Is it a body from a recent murder? You never know, murder, accident, whatever you want to say, because we don't know anything yet. It is time to end the vlog. So I got to page 53 in here, which is 16%. The dialect is spot on, just from the Irish people I've been around and like Irish media I've watched. So definitely spot on. I'm reading it in my head in an Irish accent. And then just culture is so prevalent in here, which is always nice to see. I have no idea where Aaron Hart is from. It doesn't say on the back. And then I will begin into this tonight on page 196, 34%. But if you made it through the whole vlog, leave a crown CROWN emoji down below in the comments. And don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!